Welcome back, everybody. We decided to move things outside today for another tabletop look at our Eddystone M1917 and 30-06. It's a rare, beautiful day in the Rocky Mountains, so I wanted to take advantage of it in the middle of winter. Move outside in spite of the noise, birds and everything. But it's a very appropriate place to look at a World War I rifle, and in my opinion, one of the most overlooked rifles from a collector's point of view. And, I've got the bayonet on it, so let me pan up and down. First of all, show you the bayonet a little bit. I'll zoom in just a little bit here. As you can see, we're going to lose our light a little bit, a little silhouette, but continue on up, and finally, there's the end of the bayonet. It's a 1910 bayonet produced by Remington, as Eddystone was a subsidiary of Remington. The history on this gun is so rich, and it's such an overlooked part of the collector's milsurp type guns. But it's one of my favorites. I'm going to go ahead and grab that bayonet and we'll take a closer look at it. And then we'll move on to the rifle. I said 1910, what I meant to say was 1917. Got my notes here. I'm going to see if we can't get the light to cooperate a little bit better. There we go. There you can see the 1917 mark on the bayonet, the Remington stamp, and then of course on the opposite side, the U.S. Ordnance mark, the flaming bomb, and the eagle's head. And this has the two grooves notched into it to differentiate from the very similar and almost exactly the same English version of this bayonet, and they will not fit on each other. The English version, of course, fitting the P14 rifle. The pattern 1914 rifle was chambered in .303, and a little bit on the history, real quick, before I get to some facts that are a little less known on this rifle. There's the sheath made out of green leather. As you can see, these are getting more difficult to find the sheath for these. They're scabbard, if you will. So, as the United States was in World War I wanting to stay neutral, and Britain finding themselves short of arms, Remington, Winchester, and Eddystone were contracted to make the P14 for Britain in .303 British. So the United States did not stay neutral in World War I, though, and found themselves short of rifles, just as England did when they entered the war. So in 1917, Remington was contracted to manufacture, and Winchester and Remington's subsidiary Eddystone, to manufacture these rifles. And a huge quantity of them were made, about in the neighborhood of 2.2 million. And in fact, 2/3 at least of our troops were equipped with this rifle rather than the Springfield 1903. And the Springfield 1903 is a collector's rifle without doubt, outshadowing this gun that was the main battle rifle for World War I in the United States. Of course, it was rechambered in in 30-06 when they started producing these, because it just happened to be the right time. They were already tooled up for making these rifles. I'll go ahead and grab it. I'll continue to talk a little bit and flip this around so I can see. And you can see it's very English looking in the stock design. Of course, it is pretty much a pure English rifle. We have a no buckle sling, which is a American sling, American version. So it was easy to rechamber this gun, as we found ourselves short of other guns. Some interesting marks there, and it became the main battle rifle, outshadowing the 1903. Now these are starting to come up in the collector's market. I'll show you some other interesting cartouches. The Eagle Head cartouche on the stock. It is a cock on close, just as the P14. And some interesting history about Eddystone also. Since they were manufacturing the P14, the United States said, well, let's go ahead and produce these guns. We're tooled up for it. A slight change in the chamber, the magazine and the bolt, and we have a nice 30-06 gun. Now Eddystone is actually the Eddystone Locomotive Works, and they produce steam locomotives. Now the steam locomotives that they produced eventually were their demise, as it was Eddystone, Pennsylvania. It was why this gun carries the Eddystone name, because they thought that the diesel locomotives would never catch on, never be more of a fad than anything. Well, needless to say, they were wrong, and it ended up bankrupting them. Now, see if we can get in on the barrel of this a little bit. See if it'll focus in. This one's been re-arsenaled, and if you can see, it says JA with the flaming bomb. Now, this is a Johnson automatic barrel on it. It was replaced at some time. Originally they had a five groove barrel. This one is a 2 groove barrel. There were 3 barrels. The original barrel, which was a left hand twist. This one's a right hand twist. And then a replacement barrel was a 4 groove right hand twist, and then this 2 groove Johnson automatics right hand twist. Now they have a few. The advantage to the 2 groove barrel is fewer a lower pressure, using high pressure rounds or high power hunting type rounds. Now this gun was made in December of 1918, and could contribute to part of its very good condition. As you know, the war ended in November of 1917. So, as a consequence, this one probably escaped. I do not have the cleaning kit in it right now. I do have it. I should have grabbed that, but it's similar to an M1 Garand cleaning kit, the nickeled brass oiler with a pull-through cleaning jag that's stored in it. So there we go, stacking lug, and this 2 sling swivels. Incidentally, this also has a 6-round magazine, because the 30-06 cartridge being a smaller diameter, or rimless rather, compared to the 303, which is a rimmed cartridge. You're actually able to fit 5 rounds into the magazine on this rifle, or 6 rounds into the magazine, where it was 5 rounds on the P14. So this is the M1917 produced by Eddystone. And there's our Eddystone markings on it, a very late serial number. These were produced by Remington in a sporterized version as a hunting rifle later. Many of these were sporterized. In fact, it can be difficult to find one in original configuration. So there we have it. One of the unsung heroes of World War I. Coming into their own now as a collector's item. Prices are starting to climb on these and approaching 1903 prices. The 1903 outshines it as an American design in the United States, and also it's quite a bit lighter and actually quite a bit handier than this heavy about 11-pound gun, particularly with the bayonet on, that huge sword bayonet. So there we have it. One of my favorite guns in 30-06, and I think it's a magnificent gun to get into collecting if you'd like to get one. The Winchesters are the rarest, the Remingtons next, and about 1.2 million of the Eddystones, even though Eddystone has a really unique history, and I think they're deserving of collector status just as much as the little over 400,000 that Winchester made and close to 500,000 that Remington made. So I hope you enjoyed this quick look at the M1917, and we got a couple more tabletop reviews of these fantastic collector type firearms coming up, so stay tuned. Thanks for joining me.